to be able to provide the...
Hey, can you hear me?
I can. I put my screen to the top and like my head's cut off.
Yeah, I know. I'm in my car because I'm going to a different an event tonight. So
Awesome.
I'm here.
Thank you so much for taking your time out for us.
Absolutely.
So Johnny Coles, you are a motivational speaker. What else do you do, Johnny?
So I have two other businesses. I have a mobile detailing company.
Awesome.
And I also have a tree company that I'm partners with a guy on. So I have those two things going on, plus the motivational speaking, and you know I have a full full load. You know, yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate your time. I know your time is valuable, so let's jump right in. Thank you, Dustin. I see you on there. I see everyone going in. So let's get it. Let's do this. So what does resilience mean to you, Johnny?
So resilience for me, that means bouncing back. Yes. That's what that means. You know, it means that like I've gone through some things and I've made it through some things and I've come back. You know, I've been resilient. You know, I've bounced back from some adversities that, you know, we all go through adversities. Yes. We all have things that we go through. You know that. I know that. You know, I also want to tell you that I have 22 years clean. So,
yes.
So you know, if I want to talk about the resilience piece, right? If it wasn't for the recovery piece, nothing else would be possible.
I can so relate. I'm in recovery myself.
So, you know, I'm the guy that I struggled, right? With the recovery piece, and it took me 10 years to get 1 year clean.
Oh, okay. But you didn't give up. You kept going.
Listen, I didn't give up, but it was tough. It was tough because, you know, if anyone knows about, you know, the addiction is like, man, listen, it calls all the shots. It calls all the shots, you know, and, you know, it's resilient as well. It just keeps coming back. It doesn't want to let go. You know, when I got into recovery, you know, it kept calling me back and I kept answering the call and it called me back and I answered the call. So, you know, I finally had enough when, you know, I had gotten sentenced to a 9-year prison sentence. And that was really like the turning point for me.
Oh, okay. Yes. So what can you tell us about your story? Because I know you don't have too much time, but what can you tell us about your story? What pieces of your story would help our listeners that are struggling, suffering with mental health, with addiction, with struggles in life? What can you tell us?
So the part of my story was, you know, so once I got to jail, right, and I had finally had enough, I looked around and I said, it's either going to be this or I'm going to be able to make a change and do something different. So, you know, the biggest piece for me, first of all, was a mindset change. You know, I had to get the mindset change. And for other people that are going through stuff, you know, we have to figure out the piece, you know, that mindset. What mindset am I in? Right. You know, and once we can figure that out, you know, then we can make a change. So once I made that mindset change, you know, I set some goals, right? And then I had some passion that went along with like what I really wanted to do.
Yes.
You know,
so awesome.
You know, that was the piece. So, you know, those are my 3 takeaways. It's the mindset change, right? It's the goal. It's the setting some goals, and then it's to have passion about, you know, the goals that I'm setting, you know, and about the things that I wanted to do. So, you know, so when I got into jail, you know, I started making changes while in jail.
Okay.
You know, I stayed away from all the negative things. You know, I was a tutor in jail. I took courses. I took some college courses when I was in jail. You know, I took some behavioral courses. You know, anything positive that I could do, that's what I did. And and those are the things that started that change for me, you know? Those were the things that started that change for me. And, you know, doing the tutoring and helping other guys, you know, it was about the giving back that allowed me to have that, you know, that sense of self that, like, man, it's nothing. Giving back is a way for me to keep it. You know, so I can't keep it unless I give it back, you know? So I did that. I was in there for 5 years, right?
Okay.
And, you know, I made the changes, and then I had an opportunity to go to a halfway house. You know, I made parole. I went to the halfway house, and when I went to the halfway house, I adopted a phrase that was, failure is not an option, right? So when I came out, I got to the halfway house, and I remember asking my mom, I said, listen, Mom, I just need one last thing, and I just need a bicycle, right?
Right.
So I got 2 jobs while I was in the halfway house.
Okay.
And a bicycle. And I rode the bicycle, rain, sleet, snow, hurricane, whatever. I rode the bicycle. You know, that was that resilient piece that no matter what, it was like, I got to do whatever it is I have to do, but failure is not an option. So that's what I did. I rode the bicycle. I never took an Uber. I never took a cab. I never took a bus. I just rode the bike. And in 9 months' time, you know, I one of my goals was to save $10,000, right?
Okay.
So in 9 months, I saved the $10,000.
Wow, that's awesome.
You know,
so awesome.
Yeah. So you know that was a big part for me. Okay. You know, that was the first real big change that I had made in, you know, since coming out of jail. You know, it was working the 2 jobs. You know, I was in recovery. I was early in recovery. You know, I was going to meetings on the street and doing things while I was in the halfway house. But that was a big part. It was that goal, that setting that goal, making that goal, that $10,000. It really meant something to me. It meant that, like, wow, I really started to succeed in the things that I wanted to do.
Right.
You know? Yeah. Wow. So after that, you know, one of the jobs I had was I was a produce clerk, right? And I went from produce clerk to assistant produce manager to a produce manager.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm telling you, I was on this course that, like, failure's not an option. So I was just gung ho. I was real passionate about, like, man, listen, I had failed for those 10 years that I tried getting clean and I had no success. I got clean, I used, I got clean, I used, I got clean, I used, you know, so now I was starting to have some success with staying clean, right? And finally, you know, being able to save some money, because I don't know about you, but when I was using, I wasn't able to save no money ever.
Yeah.
That wasn't that wasn't in the card.
Right.
So it was during this point that I was in as a produce manager, I wanted to be an entrepreneur, right?
Okay.
So I started doing things that took me down the entrepreneurial path. And of course the first thing I tried, I believe I was like trying to either flip houses or wholesale houses or do something like that. And I realized that wasn't my lane. That wasn't for me, right?
Okay.
So that wasn't successful for me. So then I got in with my nephew. My nephew and he was flipping cars, so I had some money stacked up. And I told him, hey, listen, I'll get in and I'll do this thing with you. And somehow that thing didn't work out either, so we came up with this idea of starting the mobile, detailing company. And I started that with my nephew. Now listen, let me tell you, I didn't know one thing about detailing. Nothing.
Okay.
Absolutely nothing. But I told my nephew, I said, listen, I'm working the produce job, and when the calls come in, you're going to have to take them, and then, on the weekends or after work, I could come and help you do the detailing stuff. So, long and behold, we started that. It went well for the first year, and then things happened between him and I, and listen, it didn't work. It didn't work for me and him, but now I was stuck with this mobile detailing business, right?
Ah, okay.
So the resilient piece is that I made it work.
Right.
I made it work.
Wow.
I learned how to detail, and after doing stuff for a while, you pick up things, you learn things, and that's what I want to, one of the things that I want to tell our listeners and our viewers is that you might be going through stuff. You may be, whatever it is that you're going through, whether it's in your personal life, whether it's in your job life, I just want to encourage you, just don't give up. You have to stay the course, man. No matter what it is that we do, everything requires work. I was just talking to a guy about that today. Sometimes people come along and they see where we are in life, right? And they go, oh, you're lucky, you're this, you're that. No, luck played no part in this.
Right? You didn't see the struggle. You didn't see where I came from.
You didn't see the struggle. I felt it. I know it. Where were you when I had to get up and jump on that bike when it was 30 degrees out and I had to bundle up? I bundled up in that jacket, and I put the hoodie on, and I went through the weather, because I remember some of the snowy days, and I'm out there and I'm pedaling along, and I always showed up at work on time. And that was one of the things the guys was like, yo, this guy is real serious about this, because, it became a part of me. It was so important, not important for other people. It was important for me,
Right.
I'm one of those people pleasers. So I was always doing things to always make everybody else okay. And I always forgot about Johnny. But this was the first piece that, really made sense to me, that I started doing this thing for me. And, I just worked hard at it. And before you know it, right, it was like 2 years. You know, I was working the produce job, and after work, as I got calls came in, I would tell the people, I would say, hey, listen, I don't have any I don't have any appointments until the afternoon. And they was like, okay, that's fine. So I would get off of work, I would sprint home, change my clothes, jump into my detailing gear, and I would go and detail cars.
Wow.
You know? And I did that, you know, so I had another goal. My next goal was, I said, you know what? In 2 years, within 2 years, I want to be able to retire this produce job and just go full time into the detailing. And wouldn't you know, within that 2 years time, you know, I remember, you know, I had some fear and some apprehensive about, you know, leaving the security of, you know, the medical. That was the big piece. It was like, oh man, if I gotta pay for my medical, I left. I remember calling and getting a quote on the medical, and the medical was expensive, you know.
Right.
when I was with the company, it was cheap because it was so many people in the group. But when I went on my own, that was one of those things that, you know, it was like, do I leave or do I stay because I need medical? And I took a leap of faith, and I just went out on my own, you know. Right. And here I am 4 years later, right? And things are just bustling. They're just I'll tell you, you know, putting in the work, it really pays off, you know. And it reminds me of that in the motivation, in the speaking realm as well, you know, because, you know, we do all the behind the scenes, and no one knows what it's like to go through the behind the scenes to come out, and they just see the finished product.
Right.
But the part of us, the product of us, in you know, when we're working on it, you know, it's a lot of stuff that we go through.
Right. It is.
It's a lot of stuff. I remember, you know, when we were in Mexico and we were doing the trainings, and you know, I had all those butterflies in my stomach, and I was like, you know, because I'm a perfectionist, right? And I don't want to admit that I'm a perfectionist, but I am, and that's one of my defects of character, you know. And sometimes being a perfectionist has stopped me from doing things. Because I'm like, man, if I can't do this perfectly, I don't want to do it at all.
Yes. So did you have to adopt the phrase progress over perfection?
Oh my God, I like that phrase. I
adopt that one.
I like that.
Perfect. That one too.
Listen, progress is better than perfect. You know, so you know, I've had to give myself a break, you know, and just allow myself to be human. And sometimes, you know, when I've done this perfection thing for so long, right? It's just in me. And it takes, you know, it takes what it takes for us to come out. But as long as I'm working on it, right?
Yes.
As long as I'm a work in progress, you know, I got a shot. You know? And that's the important piece.
Yes.
Right?
And you're very self-aware. You're self-aware of what your weaknesses are. And I think that's so important. So important. Because you can work on it. If you're not aware, or you're running from, or don't want to admit, or whatever, then you can't work on it. But when you're aware, you know what it is, you can work on it.
You can work on it. Absolutely. You know, so, You know, and that's what I do, you know. So now I've built this, you know, real successful detailing company, and you know, it allows me the freedom of like going on vacation and still making money while I'm on vacation. You know, you know, I have you know, I have some contracts. Some of my contracts that I've been able to achieve is, you know, I have a CarMax contract. I have an enterprise contract. I have a rider contract, and then I also have a big truck contract, the Kenworth dealer. And what these contracts do is, I'm in the Northeast, so winter gets winter, you know. And it was I'll tell you what's funny is that when I first started, my whole goal was, I said, now if I can work from March to November, right, and make a certain amount of money, more money than I would make like my whole year as a produce manager, I said, I'll be fine, right? And what I didn't realize was that I think it was like 4 years into this thing, I realized that people get their cars clean all year round.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, and I didn't realize that. And that's some of the misconceptions we have. Those are some of the things, like, if we don't know something, we don't know. Yeah. So, you know, one of the important things is for us to do is to educate ourselves so that we can be the people that we can be.
Right.
You know,
so powerful.
You know, I think it's so important that you know, I just work, I wake up every day and I go out, and my zeal for life is, I just want to be the best person that I can be, right? And if I can help someone in the process, then that's what my purpose is. My purpose is to be okay, to take care of my family, and also to help others. I remember when I was in jail, right? I remember telling the guards, because the guards always look at you as a piece of crap. They think all inmates are a piece of crap, you know, this and that. And I told the guards, I was like, listen, man, you know, I always had a job when I was out. I worked my whole life. You know, the circumstances is what got me to where I am today. You know, and that was the drug use. So so I told the guards, I was like, you know, once I get out of here, if I have the ability to hire someone or help someone, I'll always do that. And I remember, you know, that part came true once I became a produce manager, because as people came to me to get hired, listen, someone gave me an opportunity when I was in the halfway house to work for them.
Right.
So now it was my turn to pay it forward, right? So now I started allowing people, hiring people that were fresh out of jail or in the halfway house, you know, and as long as I'm doing that for the right reason, and the right reason is everyone deserves a second chance. Now, what you do with your chance, I can't help that. You know, because like everybody's not ready.
Right.
Everybody's not ready. But as long as I've done my part for that, then I'm okay with that.
Right.
You know, it's so good to know that, you know,
when I was using, I was selfish, self-centered. I didn't think about anybody. But these days, you know, I help employ people, right?
Great.
I help other families. You know, my guys, they're able to feed their family. They're able to take care of people. So I look at those things and I'm like, wow, you know, that's my way of giving back.
Right.
You know,
Right.
you know, I do some other work where, you know, I go into the rehab, I bring meetings in there. You know, that's another way of giving back. But, you know, I'm always in a service, you know, I'm always providing service, man, because that's the purpose. The purpose of this is I can't keep this. I want to share this with like everybody
Yes.
and just let people know that, like, listen, man,
Yeah.
if you can only figure it out, right? And even if you can't figure it out, even if you start to figure it out, things can get better.
Yes.
And as long as we don't give up, you know, failure is not an option. You know, I failed numerous times. I failed so many times I can't tell you how many times I failed. But you know, those first 10 years that I tried to get clean, right? I failed over and over again, but now look at me. I have 22 years clean.
Yes.
Right?
That's
So
a miracle. It's awesome. So awesome.
So,
really
you know, so, you know, I listen, I love the mobile detailing thing. It's taken me to places that I never thought I would be, right? And I do some amazing stuff, like I do RVs, I do boats, I do cars, I do trucks, and just today, I remember last week we did a guy's food truck, right? So today the guy called and he said, "Hey, you guys did such a wonderful job on my food truck," right? He says, "Do you do airplanes?"
That's awesome.
So
Will you are you doing his airplane?
So now he wants me to come out and do his airplane, and I'm like, oh my God, you know?
That's so awesome.
I'm like, oh my God. But God shows up, and as long as we put the work in, God continues to work for us.
Yes.
God saw fit that I finally caught on, because he never gave up on me.
Right.
Even when I gave up on me, there were times I gave up on me.
Right.
I gave up on me. But I'm here to tell you that, like, the resilience, right, is that I've bounced back better than ever.
Yes, you have.
Sometimes people talk about they're like, yo, I just want my life back. I don't want my life back. I want this new life that I have, because it's better. It's better than I've ever had it.
Yes. And Johnny, when I started recovery freshly, that's something I struggled with, because I kept saying, I'm never going to get back to how I used to be before the PTSD, before the addiction. Like, I'm never going to get back. And my life coach was like, no, that's not the plan for you. The plan for you is to be better and recreate yourself into something that's more amazing than you've ever been. Like, that's done. You're recreating. And so that's such a powerful point that you said that, because it's so relatable to me.
Yeah. I think it was in fall of 20, in the middle of the pandemic, right? I had the most amazing opportunity. I was working with a guy, and I had he gave me, I got 80 trucks to DID. And when I say DID, what that means is I took the wraps, you know, as you see trucks go down and you see everyone has their IDs on it, like Coca-Cola or Pepsi or those things. All of those things are they're wraps. They're vinyl wraps. So if you took those off, you would have the plain white truck.
Oh, okay.
So I had an opportunity. These people had 180 trucks, right? And I got a chance to do 80 of them.
Wow.
So
that's so awesome.
So
you inspire me. Like, I know that your story is inspiring our viewers. You are just such an inspiration. I mean, this is amazing. So amazing.
And those are the things. It's like wow, little old me is able to do these things. So, you know, I was able to take I took myself and 3 of my workers, and we flew from Connecticut straight into Salt Lake City, right?
Okay.
So we had 5 trucks in Salt Lake. We drove down to Las Vegas. We did 5 trucks in Las Vegas. Then we jumped in the van and we drove out to California, and we did 23 trucks in Anaheim and 15 trucks in Los Angeles.
That is awesome. Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
So,
I mean, so many blessings, and you are just living abundantly.
Man, I tell you, it's so amazing that you know, I had that in the beauty of that was that I took guys that hadn't traveled or done anything to places that they would have never have gone, right?
Right.
So they got to see a different part of the country, and you know, I paid for all the hotel, their food, the flights, everything. And it was just like, man, it was so amazing. I'm telling you, this life that I have now, I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't trade it. And that's why I really want to be, you know, the motivational speaker, is because I just want people to know that, like, listen, I grew up a poor kid, right? And, you know, I've gone from being a poor kid to going to a prep school, going to college. I got involved. That's where the drugs really started for me. And I hit a rocky 15-year patch.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I was up and down, right? But I came back. I came out of that. Yes. So, you know, your project, the resilience piece is that, you know, I've bounced back.
Yes.
100%.
Yes. And that is that you have, Johnny, and you inspire me so much. And that's the whole point of what we're trying to do with these stories, is to create awareness for resilience, and that people that are struggling, people that are having a hard time with money, with jobs, in prison, on drugs, like whatever, they can look at you and be like, you know, holy crap, look at this man has been through all this stuff, and look what he's doing now. Look at the work he put in. Look at the mindset shift. Look at what he's doing. Look how he was able to go from the darkest dark places to now. I mean, you're shining a light on everybody.
Man, you know, it is amazing. And you know, it's amazing that, you know, you've created this platform because it's a needed platform.
Thank you.
You know, it's so needed. It's so needed. You know, I have some other things that's in the works. You know, I'm in the process of writing a book. You know,
yes, awesome.
You know, I need to do that. And you know, I want to start a podcast, but you know, I just have so many things, but you know, there's still only 24 hours in a day, right?
Yes. Yes.
And there's like never enough time, you know, between everything else. And you know, I'm 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 this aspiring entrepreneur that like, you know, I've gone from like 0 to 100.
That
You
is
know,
so awesome.
and you know, it's and I really feel like this is only the beginning.
Yes.
That's how I feel. You know, it's just you know, it's just amazing. You know, I love the community that we're in. You know, we have a bunch of beautiful people doing beautiful things out there sharing their purpose, right?
Yeah.
Out there telling people their why, right?
Yes.
What happened yesterday, you know, and then look what's happening today. You know, look where we are. You know, like you said, we've come from that dark place and we've come into the light. Like you're
Yeah, like my project, light it up.
Light it up.
Yes.
We're lighting it up. We're lighting it up.
Yes, Johnny, you're firing me up here.
So, you know,
you get my message.
I got it. I got it, man. And it's like, and that's what I want to do. I just get excited. I get passionate about this thing because I remember where I was in my darkest, you know, in my darkest time. I remember not wanting to go on. You know, I remember that. But you know, today, man, I wouldn't trade this for anything. You know, I wouldn't trade it for anything. And I just want people to know that no matter what it is that you're going through, no matter what it is that you've gone through, you can get through it.
Yes.
You can get through it, right? And if you don't know how, like if you're stuck, find someone, talk to someone, get the help that you need because the help is out there. You know, don't struggle in silence.
No.
You know.
Yes, Johnny, you're so good. And that's this whole project. We have yellow wristbands, yellow t-shirts. It's in support of anybody who's struggling, suffering, going through anything. And we're promoting resilience and emotionally supporting anyone that's struggling. And we're working on emotional support groups to be able to provide that for people. So we're still building. We're a very new organization.
This thing is,
and you're so spot on.
This thing, you have like what you're creating, man. You have no idea the impact you got. That's coming your way. You know, I brought my shirt. I don't know if you can see it, but that's
I'm getting up to look down like I could see it better. I'm such a dork.
But that's my shirt. Is failure is not an option.
I love it.
So that's my tagline. That's my tagline, you know. And you know, I just want people to know that, you know, failure's not an option. You know, once I adopted that, I took it serious. You know, I don't want to fail at anything, you know, and you know, there will be things that we will fail at, you know, but we can still get through.
Yes.
We can still get through. So, man, listen, I could talk all night. I know I gotta go. I gotta go over here to this thing, and listen, it's so amazing. This has been amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Well, Johnny, one thing I just want to say, you are an amazing rock star. You're inspiring. I just wish you so much luck on your journey. And where can our viewers find you? So,
your viewers can find me on IG, on Instagram. We're on Johnny Coles, and that's JOHNNIE COLES.
Okay.
You can also, I have another one, the Done Right. It's Done Right Detail, Done Right underscore detail. That's DUNRITE_detail. You know, you can see all the beautiful cars and trucks and boats and RVs that I do over there. And if you go on, if you go to my Johnny Coles, I have a link tree, and you can see some of the, you know, the work that I've done, because I have a Johnny Coles YouTube that, you know,
Awesome.
if people are out there, you know, subscribe to my YouTube page,
Yeah.
you know, I have a couple websites. I have the Done Right website, and then I have the Johnny Coles website. But, you know, I have some things out there, so, you know, I just need the support. If people support me and follow me, you know, my journey is to make everybody better.
Yes, absolutely. Johnny, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I gotta throw you up a rock star. You are just definitely a rock star, and you inspire me. I will let you go. Will you be in Atlanta next weekend?
I won't be in Atlanta next weekend.
Okay.
I was thinking of it, but I just have too many other things to do.
Yeah. Okay.
Are you going?
I am. I'm gonna go get my learning on. I got a lot of plates spinning, and I haven't put as much work into the academy as I should.
Right.
I've been working on the charity a lot, so I'm gonna go and get that education in and
Now you spoke today, right?
I did. I spoke for the first time today, Johnny, to a group of nursing students. I spoke about my story. I created awareness for PTSD, addiction, suicide. What else? Just whatever else is in my story. So much awareness, and then I educated, right? And then I educated wellness, self-care, resilience, emotional excellence, and it was great. Like, it was amazing.
That's good. That's good. I had my first speak last Friday, and I spoke to a group of kids at the high school, and that was pretty amazing.
That's awesome. That is so awesome.
So,
well, thank you, viewers, everyone, for tuning in. Johnny's jumping off to go to an event. We thank you all so much for watching. Have a good night, guys. Thank you so much, Johnny.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.